You'll come back when it's over. No need to say goodbye. You'll come back.
Okay, so what do I say now? Like -1 days to go until Prince Caspian comes out? I don't know. I mean, today is May 16th, 2008, the day we've all been anticipating. And wow, last night, of course, you know, I recorded that about 15 minutes after I got out of the theater. You know, I was talking to people about it, and then I got in the car and immediately recorded something. So it was really, handheld and crazy. And this will be not. I haven't planned this video at all. I'm just gonna give some more random thoughts, and I'm kind of letting it sink in. But yeah, I was pretty. Right now, I gotta say it's. Maybe I'll regret saying this. I might, maybe there was just something about the thrill of the midnight showing and seeing it, going costume and the fun of that and everything. It was fun, but maybe I'll regret saying this, but right now it's kind of hard for me to imagine liking it better than The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I just walked out so much happier than with Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I will say that kiss, just about, for a second I thought it had ruined it for me. Like, it reminded me of a scene in Finding Nemo, when they're following that light, it's like, oh, good feelings gone. It was just like that. Where I was feeling really good about the movie. It wasn't perfect, but I was feeling like, wow, I was doing a really good job. Then the kiss is just like, it went on, and he was like, I am 1,300 years older than you. I mean, oh my gosh. And they dwelled on it, and it killed it. And if not for that, I think you could shrug off all the subtle nods and the glances and blah, blah, blah. This is the beginning of the analysis, oh boy. But you could have shrugged it off, or even said that, oh, Caspian does have this awe and respect of her, of like, wow, Queen Susan, he's kind of awkward around her, But the kiss just put it over the top. Hated it. That honestly, if they took that out, I might say I love the film. I might say that, but because it's in, I can only say it's a quite good film. It did take it down a point, definitely, having that in there. I would have left in a better mood have not been for that. But overall, I think I did walk out happier than with Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, because everything before the kiss, well, just about everything, was very good. I loved all of the added Miraz stuff. That just all felt very in the spirit of the book. It's something that I was always interested in while reading the book. The whole idea of Miraz being a usurper and cheating his way to the throne. And I thought it was, in the book, Cornelius talks about that. In the movie, it was really cool to actually see that. I really enjoyed that. It felt like things I'd kind of heard about in the book, and I was seeing them for real. They tried to do that with parts of Wardrobe, where they expanded on stuff, and made it like, oh, this is the real event, and it just felt like a different event than the book, Whereas this one, it really felt like I was seeing an event that I'd heard about in the book, but I was seeing it for real. And so that was one of the most satisfying parts of the movie, I think. And it's just the whole feel of it, and I kind of wonder if this is going to be my favorite film in the series for a while, because, I gotta say, one of the main reasons I like it so much is that I understand that it's a very uncinematic book, and I look at that and say, well, considering the kind of book, they actually did a good job, like a lot of the things that could have turned out to be disastrous, hey, they found a pretty good solution to that. Like the way they restructured it is not perfect, but like I've said before, there is no perfect solution. The solution they came up with was about as good as they could have done, I think, which it doesn't mean it's a great solution, it just means it's the best one that I can think of. I will say, is kind of similar, the way they opened it was kind of similar to something I had in mind. One of my first theories about how they could do it was to begin the movie with Trumpkin being captured, and have him on his way to the Peventies, and then later have him explain why he was on their way to meet them, so it'd be closer to the book. But and this was kind of similar, where it began with Trumpkin being captured and introducing the horn and everything. So that was kind of interesting. I thought all the actors were very good. Pier Francisco Favino as Glazelle, that was the most surprising. I hadn't really given him much thought. But I thought I loved that little subplot where he was, he didn't, at the beginning, he's just letting Miraz be a bully. Basically, he doesn't have the courage to stand up to Miraz, and he goes through a journey where he turns on him, basically. And I thought he was a really compelling character. I love Glazelle. And what else did I like? I mean, it just, the whole I thought that the whole themes of faith were so powerful. It's no wonder that it surprised me when I was reading reviews and saying that, people were criticizing it for being overly Christian. I'm like, really? I mean, like, I definitely see it in the book, but I didn't think it'd be that obvious in the movie. But people definitely saw it, and no wonder seeing it now. They really, like Wardrobe, I felt, as far as, the Christian themes and blah blah, they only went as far as they needed to. Like, they went as far as they needed to and no further. This one, I thought they went far beyond what they needed to, and I think that's a good thing. Like, I love the scene where Lucy and Susan are at the campfire, and Susan says, oh, why do you think I couldn't see Aslan? And Lucy says something like, maybe you didn't really want to see him. I thought that was such a great scene, and it does feel like Aslan wasn't in it enough, although I can understand why they did it and acknowledge the good that came out of it as far as waiting for Aslan's arrival for the very end. It keeps the suspense of, is Aslan going to come at all? In the book, that suspense is kept in that it's the old Narnians who wondering, are the Pevensies going to show up at all? Is Aslan ever going to show up at all? And because of the way they restructured it, they didn't really have any time to say, are the Pevensies ever going to come? They had very little time to do that. And so they kind of instead saved Aslan's arrival for the very end, and he arrives just in time at the battle. Kind of a similar dilemma they had with the first movie, where they wanted Aslan's resurrection after the battle began, because when the battle began, they didn't want you to know that Aslan was going to come save the day. So they put off Aslan's arrival in this one until the very end. But I thought it was very powerful hearing them say, like, Aslan, where have you been? And the Pevensies, where have you been the last few hundred years? And I loved all that. I love the carvings at Aslan's How. That just really, to me, that's what the Prince Caspian book is all about. Just the strangeness. There was something eerie but fascinating about it. Just like in the book, when they return to Cair Paravel, and there's something strange about this sort of untouched, and things are kind of recognizable. It's like, wow, I used to live here. Now it's 1,300 years later, It's so strange. And cinematography was excellent. My favorite scene, let me think of my favorite scene. I would say, haven't really given that much thought. Well, first off, the Prince Caspian video game. Sure, don't have it with me now. I bought the Prince Caspian video game for PlayStation 3, and it has exclusive scenes that were shot for the video game that aren't in the movie, and they're awesome. They really, I would say those are my favorite scenes, and they weren't even in the movie, but they really captured the spirit of the book. The link is on Narnia Web. Someone posted them on YouTube. You can watch them. But I think they really capture the spirit of the book. It's a shame. I can understand why they were cut, because there's no great place to put them, but maybe an extended edition, Although, I'm not sure. I don't think I would like an extended edition, because they'd probably put back all those flirting scenes with Caspian and Susan in, like the one where they had the shooting match. They'd probably put that back in. And I wouldn't want that. It wouldn't be worth getting this scene back for that. So there's this trade-off that would go on. But overall, like, the thing I want most out of any story, really, is to be moved. And The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the movie didn't really move me much. But this one did. Like, the whole thing of, is Aslan going to come? And, some of the Caspian Cornelius bits. The end of the night raid, heartbreaking. The battle was overly long, but it did kind of have an emotional climax, I think. Yeah, I found it. I was very happy that, I know that one Narnia Weber in particular is going to be happy to see this, that in the end, they didn't just defeat the Telmarines, they won them over. I really appreciated that. And the song "The Call" at the very end, I was surprised to hear it in the movie, but I think it worked very well. It kind of, made you feel like John Treader was coming. Reapy Cheap was awesome, of course. Fan favorite Reap was just fantastic. I was so happy about that. I don't want to say blown away. Really, the kiss just kind of ruined it in a sense for me. Or it didn't ruin it, but put it down a level. I just hated the kiss so much. It was so, I booed. Me and my brother booed really loud when they did that. It just kept on going. That was the worst part. But it's not a perfect film. But I walked out feeling so much better than Wardrobe. It moved me. I like the movie it doesn't work as well on its own, but I like the movie for the same reasons I like the book. The strangeness of return and the whole, is Aslan going to come back, the drama of that, and the faith issue, same reasons. And I'm out of time now. This was just kind of another spontaneous review. I'll have a deeper analysis soon. I'm going to see it again in a DLP. If you can see a DLP showing, by the way, where it's like high definition, definitely do that. Highly recommend. That's what I'm going to see tomorrow. So I'm going to, so much analysis to go. I'm going to sign off for now, though.